of the year when we started meeting for the first time as a CTT, we were up at the other high school, right, at Generations, and Ms. Villacorta was leading us, and we talked about some of our vision for the year. And some of the things that we named is wanting for the math department and for our students this year. I have on the board, so we wanted to have really deeply internalized lessons so that we have a strong first teach. We want to make sure that we're anticipating our misconceptions and planning for them, and then monitoring them when our students are in the room. We talked about having really accurate and reflective data that we can collect and then analyze for areas of reteach and growth. And then we said we wanted our students to be really engaged in our lessons with specific strategies, like using the Everyone Writes and the whiteboards and the ink pair shares. Okay, so that's kind of what we stated at the beginning of the year. I reworded a little bit, but for the most part, those messages are the same. So just take a second and kind of reflect on that. And I want you to think about where are you doing well with this right now, and then where do we need to shift our focus for a second semester as we ramp up back in our lessons. I know right now we're not really teaching new material, but when we come back in the fall or in the spring, what are you going to focus on? So just take a second to think about that. So let's start with the positive. So where are we winning and what's going well for us based on this first semester? I'll put it back up just in case you need to see them. But let's start with just shout out celebrations. You can shout yourself out. You can shout out a student who's made a lot of progress. You can shout out a coworker who has made a lot of progress. So does anyone want to begin with just shout outs for yourself, your team? Where are we winning? Everyone has to share one thing. I can start.
I could start.
Okay.
For me, I would say something for Calc AB. At the start, I feel like the students, at this point, I already know like my strong students and then the students who are struggling with putting effort or not effort. So I did have a small group of students who at the start weren't really into it. They weren't really engaged, but now they're really invested. Specifically, I'm talking about Yareli. She started off the year really not really into it. She really wasn't into trying to understand the concepts or understand how to do the math, but now she's really into it. She's pairing up with students who are getting it, and she's making sure she's understanding. She's works on problems, goes at night and makes sure she gets it, comes to me and asks for help, and I'm just wow, the turnover, I was just it's so great about her.
Teacher influence, right? That's right. Thank you for sharing. I want to name something that I think that our team has gotten really strong at this year is looking at our data and finding one, I think in general we're doing better at anticipating the misconceptions. I think you guys know your content, and you can look at a lesson and be here's where they're going to struggle. And I think you guys are doing a good job of planning for that. And I think we're I can see when I go I don't observe a ton, but when I do, I always see you guys referencing hey, this is what you guys messed up on. Here's what we're gonna do to fix it. So really targeting those reteaches of what kids are missing, the piece. And I think that's a strength of our team. I don't know if it's because we're math brained and so the data comes naturally or what, but I think that is a strength of everyone's.
I would say a really special shout out to Cole. When he does step in and push into my room, he normally pulls kids, but it's not always just his kids to make it just random. He pulls kids to the side and then works one-on-one with them, and I'm okay, who needs it next? And I'm you can go now. And some of the kids are can I go next? Can I go next? And they're not even his kids. They're can I go next? I need help too. But it helps take the load off of me, because I can do small group, but I have 30 kids at that point, So letting him do that one-on-one or 2 people to 1 really helps in class.
I know you haven't been here very long. Just something that's going well, something that, yeah.
That's going well?
Yeah. or a shout out for yourself, or a shout out for a student?
Even if it's just making it through the week.
There's something you want to share about Miss Littlejohn things. Do you have one, Miss Littlejohn?
I would say I would like to give a shout out to my entire class. My fourth period, they're retesters, and you know what retesters, there's a stigma about them. But my fourth period beats every stigma. They're competitive, they actively work, they'll initiate practices by themselves. So my fourth period brings me joy, sometimes. But I really like that class because, I don't know, just to see kids actually work and actually learn and actually remember things that I teach them is amazing, and I feel like my fourth period gives me that. So yeah.
Well, I want to affirm you in that because I think like the reason they're doing that is because they enjoy you and they enjoy the class. And like I see it like this week, and like she's been doing these cute little like holiday do-nows and stuff like that. Like it's really obvious like you're very intentional about how can I make this joyful for them. And so I think that's why you're getting that payback in that. And so kudos to you as well.
Thank you.
Nope, I don't want that. Nope. How do I say no?
You just have to book confirm, and we have 8 minutes.
Oh God. Okay. All right. Well, if it's shut off. Okay. Sorry. Who else wants to share?
I'll shout out Miss Song and Miss Edward because this is my first year in high school math, so with algebra and algebra 2. So even though I'm strong at math, I haven't worked in that math in a long time. So I'm also like actively learning with the kids. But if I ever need help or anything, like I just ask them for help, and they're like quick to answer it, and I get it real quick. So then I'm able to transfer that over to the kids. And then I'd also like to shout out some of, because I obviously work with the kids with IEPs, and some of them have at the beginning were very like shy and not open to asking for help. But I feel like I've developed relationships with some of them to the point now where they're more open and willing to ask questions. So that's something I want to shout out.
Nice. I know.
I would like to shout out you for helping me and being a good guidance.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm gonna try to do better. I feel like you gave it a really crazy time with testing, and I was like, I haven't seen her in like 3 days because I've been proctoring. So
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Ms. Hudson, anything to add?
My students who are on my caseload who don't think they want the help, and being in like especially your classes or when I was over there in Conroe's classes and helping them, and then they finally realized that I was the in-class support, and now they won't leave me alone. Now I can't get now they need, oh Miss, can you pull me because I need help? Excuse me, no, we're not doing that.
Good. Well, I hope that like as the semester winds down, you guys find some time for some more like reflection around what is going well. It can be easy to dwell on like all the tasks and the things that are not, but it's been a good semester, and so I want you guys to like take that into the holidays with you. So now let's talk about some areas of growth for us as a department and where you need more support. And this is where I'm going to take some notes just so that I can record ideas. I had a notebook, and then everything in my life has gotten lost today, so we'll use that for the moment. So what are some areas for growth for us as a department, and where specifically like do you need support? And it is okay to call me out in this moment and be like, here's what I need, right? It's feedback is how I get better at what I'm doing. And it can also be like, so it could be feedback for like me as your department chair. It could be feedback for Ms. Villacorta as a coach. It could be feedback for like just like school culture. Like just if there's things that we need to do to move forward on like our goals of like those really strong internalized lessons, like what do you need to feel supported to do that? Getting the data, like what you guys need.
I don't know about growth of department. I think, cause VC has helped me, scaffold my lessons to where they're shorter and they have more time for the students to actually work and practice. So she's already helped me and solve my problem with that. The only thing that I think I need to grow in is that I was doing really well in the beginning. What is it? It was in the beginning, you said it. Oh my god, pregnancy brain.
Do you want me to go back to them?
The, when you're like think, eat, pair, share, or
Oh,
whiteboard,
strategies.
implementing that back into my lessons now that they're scaffolded. I think that's an area where I need to get back to, now that I have the scaffolding and the internalization piece, I guess, I wouldn't say mastered, but like almost there. I think that is the added addition that I can go back to. But,
That's mine as well. I was really solid in the beginning of the year, and then life just takes over, and you kind of, those things always get deprioritized, right? We named that in the beginning of the year, like when things get crazy, these are what we're gonna lose, and it happened. And so I think like recognizing that and then like reamping it like again in the spring will be important. So thank you for naming that. Anyone else have anything? I won't make everyone share if you don't have something, but.
I think school culture-wise is better at giving agendas when we have all these different events and stuff to help everybody plan better, because I feel like from in the past till now, we used to have to give notice of things 2 to 3 weeks in advance, and nowadays it feel like we're giving 24 hours. Oh, and tomorrow we're doing this, which pushes things that teachers have planned, us who support in classes have planned. Like if I plan to pull kids, now I can't pull them because it's 50,000 things going on and we don't have the time, or they are missing something from another important class, and then, so getting the information out about all these events and things that be going on around campus. It's like those field trips last week, didn't know nothing about them until day of.
That's true. And then they said something, I had to, literally 2 days before, and I'm like, okay, so this is gonna be a makeup day, cause half of y'all not gonna be here.
Class with you.
Agreed. And just so you guys are aware, like department chairs, we've been meeting to talk about that and like how we can be more of a support with that. Cause like I think a lot of times it kind of defaults to grade level chairs, but we only see them every other week, whereas like in your department chair you see once a week. So trying to like streamline some communication systems so that I can know more ahead of time to share with you guys on a weekly basis. And then just like across the board, I think communication is an area for us to improve on. Yeah. Thank you. Any other thoughts before we close out?
I think for me is one area of growth is just providing more visual supports for students. I think I've done a pretty okay job so far, but I definitely can push a little bit more in that aspect. Just I know it does support some of the kids with like the color coding and like just having a visual aid to help them. So just that's my personal area.
Cool. Thank you. That's a good reminder for all of us. I want you guys to know that like some personal goals that I have for next semester, you will be seeing me in your classes more because I do want to observe and be a support. And I just want to like name, like I'm not like taking over your coach's role. I'm not there in an evaluative sense at all. It's more just like let's talk about like what you need so that I can be of support, or I can look for things like that. Oh, like all of us need help in this area, so let's use our next CTT meeting to like focus and practice that or talk about strategies and what we need. So you will see me in your classes a little bit more, especially if you have an 8th period, but yeah, it's not, I want you guys to know that it's just there in a sense of like how can I be of support to you, and if there's something in the moment that you do need support or help with, like please just reach out and let me know, or if you think of another way that I can help us. And we'll talk about this more when we come back together in January too, just like what are we gonna do, like logistically, like the tangible things we're gonna do to continue moving towards these things. But I do think that we are in a really good place, the math team in general. Our IA data, kudos to Ms. Song and everyone who is supporting and helping, and like everyone who plays a role with those Algebra 1 babies, like they are I love the Algebra 1 kiddos. Just every year they have like a special place, even if I don't teach them anymore, but like it takes a lot to get them where they are, and they're like already like in a really, really good place. Our AP data, like Ms. Diaz works her butt off. She always like, I don't know if you've ever walked by Ms. Diaz's room, like she has kids in there all the time. And there are times when I want to go in and be like, can you give this lady a break? Like go away and let her eat a lunch.
Right, I'm gonna put a sign up there like,
Yes.
get out.
But it's because they're motivated to do
Right.
well, and like you guys are just like doing such a great job, like, and I'm just really appreciative of all of you. on Friday, we'll come together. I will not take all of your time on Friday, but just like a 10 minutes, 10 minute, I have a quick gift for you, and then like a happy holidays send off, and that's all I have. And we are done for today, unless you guys have anything else you need. All right, thanks y'all.